so much for joining me on my podcast. I was so excited when you said yes to coming on, because there's just so much I want to talk about you. So first of all, I want to start from the beginning. So you were actually from the corporate world, and now you're somebody that has an MBE now. How does that feel?
Still very surreal. When people say that to me, it's like almost, oh my gosh, pinch me. Is it really real? It's been a crazy couple of years.
Yeah.
I've embraced, every opportunity, but I never thought I'd be where I am today. So I feel very blessed to be here. So thanks for having me. And yeah, corporate world was something that I absolutely love doing. But after having 3 children, I decided after my third to give it up. And fitness, to be honest, was never something I imagined doing. I was never into sports, even at school. And it was only when I started my own fitness journey after my little one went to kindergarten that I fell in love with what it can do for me, body and mind. And actually just studied about exercise and took the qualifications more for an understanding of, what it's doing for me rather than ever leading a new career path in it.
But what was that moment that you took a chance on yourself? Because obviously there's so many women out there that are at home with children. And I do wonder, one of the last things that I want to do is go to the gym. Yeah. And, a lot of women out there find that quite difficult, especially with, as you say, you've got 3 children at home. Mm-hmm. So what was that moment that you took a chance on yourself?
I think a lot of women go to the gym, and we just started off doing group classes, probably having more coffees than actually working out like you do, and quite a social thing, where we're all talking about our children and trying to sort of think about ways I could invest in my health. I did have a little scare when I was 26 where I'd had some abnormal cells from a smear test. And that did send off, a few alarm bells. But I was always very slim. It's just obviously after having children, I lived in a joint family. There were 9 of us.
Oh, wow.
I absolutely love my food because my mum's a chef. And the weight just crept on, to a point where my husband and I were both probably about 2.5 times the size we are right now.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't anything that I was conscious of, but it's when I fell in love with strength training, and it was completely different to anything that I'd done before, and the empowerment of lifting weights, and just seeing how I could actually get stronger, not just, the way we look, but how it's making me feel mentally. And, as a young mum, and living with a joint family and lots of responsibilities and things going on, I found it was just the best way I could have that me time. And my slogan, through the pandemic, and I totally believe that going forward. For me, it's exercise for sanity, not vanity. It's not about how we look. It's about all the amazing things that exercise can do for our mental health, but also reducing risks of lots of chronic illnesses as well.
And a lot of your videos as well was with you and your husband, because support is massive. And he's very supportive of your journey, isn't he? He's been there since the beginning.
Yes, I couldn't believe it. When I did my first Instagram live, I had a completely closed off Instagram account. Just prior to the pandemic, I'd opened it up. I'd never done a live before, and I had this concept of exercise snacking. And I saw, my son and my husband, the whole family was kind of stuck in the house. And I thought, let's just get out there and let's do some movement together. So we started doing lunchtime lives, exercise snacks, and it was more to encourage people working from home, younger ones, so for us to do a little bit of bonding. And
like family time, right? And
it was so fun.
People forget about that. People
was,
forget that actually this is something that you can do together. It's not something that, because no one does anything on their own.
Exactly.
The support of your loved ones is so important.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm blessed to have their support all the way through this journey. I wouldn't be where I am without them. And so they basically went live with me every single day.
And that increased your confidence as well with doing social media, because obviously,
whole
especially
new
for
world.
me, it is a new world, isn't it? It gets so confusing and there's so much that you can do, right?
I mean, literally people ask me to this day, do you have someone managing it? And I'm like, no, it's just me. It's me. Yeah. I want to keep it very personal. On my messages and my posts, I have to think about what messages I want to put out there. So I try and manage it all myself. But we soon saw that, the workouts were reaching people. Even my parents, the grandparents were trying to get onto Instagram.
That's
I
crazy.
know, let alone use a mobile phone. My mum can't even, use her mobile
Oh my
phone
God.
regularly. And I just suddenly thought, oh my gosh, they also want to engage. So we carried on, and it grew and it grew. And I started getting messages from people globally that they were joining us. And it was amazing. We did some crazy things. If you
Yeah.
look back, they're all saved on my Instagram, IGTV. We did, like toilet roll games when there was
Yeah.
a toilet roll
But
shortage.
it happened so quickly, right? I mean, it just all happened very quickly because
It's been a whirlwind.
you were only a personal trainer for a year
Yes.
before lockdown.
Yeah.
And that's when, it was all about your YouTube videos and your IGTVs about, you doing exercise with your elderly mother-in-law.
Yes, so the exercise snacking then went into a formal workout in the evening, and it was a structured plan, like with my husband and son. And then we came up with the idea because I could see, that older generation getting really lonely, a lot of anxiety. I was really worried about how they would feel during lockdowns. And I felt like that whole generation has kind of been neglected in terms of health and fitness. And probably they don't really understand things that they could be doing. So I asked my mother-in-law, who was very camera shy like me before all of this. And at first she said, I don't want to be on the camera. And then I said, Mum, let's just try it out. And it was, Sharon, insane that I remember going live on some platforms and we had thousands join. And it was bizarre. I think Asians seeing me with my mother-in-law, which is another...
Do you think that's why people warmed to you, that they resonated to you? Because actually they saw your mother-in-law. And
I think she's been, so motivating for that generation, having someone she's now 74. We'd always, talked about, she'd always say, I want you to try and train me, Lavina.
74's quite young.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally no limit now. I've had up to the age of 100,
Oh my
join
God,
from
wow.
care homes. And yeah, it just shows, even if, people even with dementia and Alzheimer's are all causes that are very personal to me. It's just about doing some form of movement. Do what you can. Start off small, start snacking on it. And it's more just the pleasure I see. People on camera with just smiles to me means so much. And it boosts your mood, right? Even if you do a minute, it's better than doing nothing. So, yeah, my mother-in-law has been instrumental. She's been by my side, and we never realized it would take off so much. And we just started providing them, even in Gujarati, which is, the mother tongue, especially to help our South Asian communities. Because before the pandemic, I'd researched the fact that we are so susceptible to things like diabetes, heart disease, 6 times more likely than the white population. So I really felt like I want to educate them, but just show them simple things they could do at home and create this community online so they don't feel alone, right?
No, absolutely. I think that's really important as well to emphasise, because really it's kind of teaching the old generation, isn't it? And I think that's really hard because they are set in their ways, right?
Oh, totally, yeah.
But the fact that, you've talked about like the support that you've had, because I mean, the cliche is we don't really have a lot of support from our family because a lot of expectations are put on us to have a certain career, to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And it seems like you've definitely, it's definitely gone the other way for you, thankfully, and it's worked out really well for you. But, did you have were any expectations on you growing up to have a certain career and to have a certain path in life?
I think because my parents came in the 60s, they'd come from Kenya, they started from scratch. They'd always put a real focus on our education, my brother and I. And, my mum embraced all the opportunities she could. She was probably one of the more forward-thinking mums, and people used to come to her for advice about, what schools are good, because it's a whole new learning process for them when they came across so many years ago. I think the expectation was probably to do a sort of typical traditional career. I actually studied art A-level and I absolutely loved it. I did extremely well in it. And my dream was actually to go and study art at Central St. Martin's. But having the discussions with my parents, I decided, Mum was like, we'll keep it as a hobby. It's something you can always go back to.
That's the, it's a fallback, right?
It's a fallback. And to be honest, she, has taken me to art galleries every opportunity we have over the last, 20, 30 years. I went back to painting after having, the children. And it is definitely something that I've kept up. It's like one of my passions. But I studied management in the end. So I
Wow.
went down a more sort of traditional-ish route. Again, quite different for an Asian girl. And even in the workplace, I ended up being a project manager at a young age, had quite a fast career path. I was kind of in the right companies at the right time. And I ended up managing teams of men predominantly because I was in the IT side. I was managing trading systems. And most of the men in my teams were actually older than me.
Wow,
So,
okay.
I have had challenges, even in the workplace, which is
But
why.
were you happy? Was it a sort of process where you were happy?
I loved it.
You
I loved
did?
it. I loved my career. I loved, again, an unknown journey. And I feel like, that everything happens for a reason in life. And I went on that path. I didn't want to give up my role.
No.
It was fabulous. But then look what I'm doing now. I mean, you can hear the passion. I get
Yeah.
very excited to try and help as many people as I can on this mission. It's about feeling good,
Yeah.
and it's about lifestyle changes and things that we can take with us that are not going to be just the fad diet and I'm going to exercise just so I get that beach body and six pack. I
Yeah.
want it to become long-term sustainable changes for people and actually enjoy it, right?
Yeah, and be part of their life, right? To actually
Exactly.
understand that we are what we eat in certain respects, aren't we?
Totally. Yeah.
And on that note as well, I want to talk about your mum because you talk a lot about your family and you talk a lot about your mum being your hero.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about something that you've worked together on is her book that she
Yay.
self-published. Let's talk more about that.
Yeah, mum was like me actually, really focused on the children like I did when I gave up my work. And then she's always been in a family with really talented chefs. And she just started doing a few like auction prizes for my school as a cookery class. Cookery was literally an amazing career for her because she then started doing regular classes, a lot of presenting, a lot of lecturing, and she's a bioscientist. So she wrote a book, Quick After Work Indian Vegetarian Cookery, which saw me through university. Got lots of friends by making her quick meals. And then when I was pregnant with my youngest son, Sahil, she started researching the science behind food and how she says food is medicine. I'm also saying with exercise, they both go hand in hand. Exercise is medicine too. But Mum's second book, which you can see there, Feel Good with Food, is the start. That's where my Feel Good brand originates from. And she researched, why are we eating these things? Antioxidants. She's got a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Touch wood at the age of 75 still.
So she started this journey for you, and
She
you're kind
started
of working
it.
together now through it.
Yeah, I mean, I typed that book while I was heavily pregnant.
Oh,
I
that's
did all the
amazing.
photography and the styling with the photographer while Mum was just knocking them out while I was breastfeeding. A house, I had like an hour's window.
Wow.
And it's her legacy, and I hope to take the Feel Good brand, forward now. But she's been my rock. She's been my inspiration all the way.
So it's all very positive, and you have done amazing, but all of this has taken a lot of hard work. There would have been, I mean, I know for doing the projects that I do, a lot of behind the scenes crying, a lot of behind the scenes disappointments. Like, tell me about some of the struggles that you faced, getting to where you are today.
I won't lie. I mean, when you see me on camera, there's been times I say a lot on Instagram stories. I try and keep it real. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not the atypical personal trainer, that you would see. It's to encourage women that if you have given up your career and if you've had children, you can always start something new. But some of the struggles I've publicly shared, is like, I don't want to go live today. I've had a terrible night's sleep, or I've been anxious about COVID. Through the pandemic, I was working out with my mother-in-law, but I was always paranoid that, oh my God, I don't want to be the one that gives her COVID. Touch wood, she hasn't ever had it. But things like that were playing on my mind. And there were times where I just simply was, I was quite tired, exhausted. I was loading up Instagram videos till like 2 or 3 in the morning, trying to figure out this whole new world of technology. Couldn't ask my husband. He's supporting me so much just by doing all the workouts, but he's had his own job and his own, worries through the pandemic. And there would be me, like at 2 in the morning and the Instagram video doesn't load. And I was promising everyone, 21 days free workout. So I would say that I've tried to keep it real. And then once I've hit live on any occasion, you know, I feel energized. I do believe the power of movement works for me. And I always say to people, capture that feeling afterwards. So there's been times, you know, TV interviews that have suddenly thrown me, and you'll find out last minute. And I'm at home, and I also got a new puppy over lockdown.
add to your list of things to do.
I know.
But isn't there times where, you know, it is lonely? It is hard that, you know, we all get a bit of FOMO. We all get to a point where we question, what are we doing?
Totally.
Why are we here?
I think the imposter syndrome for me was probably a big one at the beginning, because although I'd been on Sky News just before the pandemic about my Get UK Asians Fit campaign, about exercise snacking, that gave me a lot of confidence. But it was from sort of zero to going to Sky News, then going back to training my women in my, you know, private gym, and then suddenly the pandemic hits, and I'd never really been on social media. So I feel the pressures of social media are something that I've had to deal with, you know, where to me, it really isn't about the following. The following can come up and down. I've seen waves. I've seen times where I think, oh my gosh, you know, I'm putting in a lot of slog here. Friends, sort of, you know, people around you that may be doing really well, and you kind of feel like, oh my gosh, am I on the right path? I think for me now, it's about the individual people that, you know, I get a message, touch wood, most days. So I thank everyone for sending me that message.
That one
the
message,
lifeline.
isn't it, that can cut
Yeah, like my grandmother's did your workout this morning, and I'm so happy, you know, like that she's just doing something for herself. Or someone stopping me in the street and saying, you know, that I'm loving the work you're doing, just keep going. It's just this individual impact. Or someone telling me that their shoulder's not hurting now from lifting weights and doing shoulder presses with me and my mother-in-law. It's small gestures like that that keep me motivated. It's not about the following. And obviously a lot of my elderly aren't even on platforms like Instagram, which is why I've opened up to everything.
So what about, like, so from your family, sort of close family, to outside, I mean, were they all supportive? Was anyone very, you know, the cliche of, what are you doing? You know, you can't do this. You know, do something else?
To be honest, no. I think they've all been, which is bizarre for an Asian, you know, community. I think because I got everyone involved, because I was doing everything for free, and I just wanted to get, you know, reach as many people as I could, and it was there, it was on offer. If they wanted to join, they joined. And to be fair, all my family, you know, extended family, you know, even just for me, when my boys say, "Mum, I'm so proud of you," that is, you know, that's
the trigger,
best.
isn't it?
Yeah,
that
that's just
is the
the
trigger
best
for all of us mums.
And I just think, you know, if I'm keeping them proud and I'm being real, I'm being authentic, true to myself, and it makes them happy, that's all I want, really, right? I mean, that's the best feedback I could ever get.
Amazing. So what's next for Lavina?
Oh, lots and lots of things. I mean, I used to write goal lists. I started journaling during the pandemic.
Okay.
And some of the things I wrote, you know, were crazy, and some crazy things have happened to me, right? Things I never expected. So I have got a big goal list while I've got the energy. But I feel I'm on a journey, and I'm just going, you know, riding it through at the moment, embracing lots of opportunities like this, which I love doing. And I just hope to help as many people as I can. So I will be encouraging people to exercise snack. I'll be encouraging them to do free workouts. I go into workplaces. I do a lot of stuff on workplace wellness, because I know we're all stuck behind screens, and our sedentary lifestyle, you know, is a killer. And things that we can do to manage stress, you know, use all these tools. So watch this space is all I can say, but I'm on a mission to continue. And obviously now, just recently, you know, I've been hit with opening up about perimenopause, which again is a whole huge taboo topic.
I didn't actually know about that. I didn't actually know a lot about that until, like, we talked about it.
Yes, I mean, to be fair, I think I suppressed it because I've had symptoms for about 3 years. So I'm 44 now. But I probably started at the age of 40, 41. But through being so busy and almost confusing it with COVID, post-COVID symptoms as well, But yeah, I think a lot of awareness needs to be made in this area, because this is a part of a female's life. It's going to happen to all of us, and it affects everyone around you as well.
That's a very woman thing to do, isn't it? Just sort of like brush it off, keep going.
Exactly.
You know, when we get these sort of like it's just an ache and pain, and you know, like we do have this, especially in the South Asian sort of community. We do have this. Yes, we just have to soldier on.
Yeah.
And sort of taking that time out for ourselves, like our mental health. I mean, we're just sort of talking about it now, aren't we? About mental health, exercise.
Yeah,
you know,
huge.
what we can be doing.
Yeah, I think self-care plays such a huge part. You know, as a busy mum on the go, even now, you know, I've started to slightly sort of take it all in a bit more, and I do make time out, whether it's what I call like, you know, a 1-minute breath snack and just do some breathing techniques or some meditation or some stretching. You know, I find, or go for a walk. I call them feel good walks. And I say to everyone, you know, just go for 5 minutes, but you need that time. And it will help everyone around you, because I think that was one of the barriers I found when I did my Get UK Asians Fit campaign. It's about all the social, cultural pressures that we have, especially as women or as mums. And we're always, you know, the obligations we have for others. We want to care for everyone around us. But when you actually invest in yourself and when you feel better, you're going to be a better person for everyone around you.
100%.
So
I totally agree with that. So Lavina, when did you first find out you were going to receive an MBE?
Oh gosh, I got an email actually. It was a couple of months. It must have been around May 2020.
Just out of the blue, just in your inbox?
Totally out of the blue. And I literally had to like check. And I remember being like, what is this? Let me call the number at the bottom. This must be something fake. You know, what is this? I mean, I didn't realize the reach of the workouts. You know, that I mean, I did know that we were having thousands of people globally join. But yeah, when I got the email, I was shocked. And then I, you know, called the cabinet office and spoke to the palace representatives. And it was just totally crazy. The hardest part was keeping it quiet for that long.
I would have gone insane. I would have had to, like, I've told the dog or something. I don't know.
Oh gosh, it was a crazy time. And then obviously when I got it, I was honoured. I think there was just 3 other sort of people in sports and fitness. It was Marcus Rashford, Joe Wicks, and Mr. Motivator. And then little old me, little old me, who had only been doing it for a few years. So it's been totally unexpected. Even when I was on ITV News and it was covered, you know, alongside Marcus Rashford's story, you know, they said that the Queen had found out about my workouts, because I was still kind of like, how has this happened?
Oh, oh my God.
And yes, when I met Princess Anne, so I didn't have my investiture until December just gone. So it was quite a long period.
That's to do with like the COVID regulations and guidelines and stuff.
But that was, you know, honestly like one of the most incredible moments of my life.
Walking in the palace,
walking in the palace. You know, I had my husband with me, and she knew exactly what I'd been doing. She was
knew who you were.
Fabulous. She knew, and I was at the end of I think about 50 people. So she'd met a lot of people beforehand. And she's incredible. I mean, she knew exactly what I was doing. She was encouraging me to do more. I did say that I want to do a workout with a member of the royal family.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. Just to manifest, put things out there. But yeah, I mean, she was wonderful. Can we see that,
you and Princess Anne?
Oh, I would love to. She had the best posture I've ever seen.
Oh,
and yeah, she was wonderful. It was an incredible, you know, it's still something that it takes a while to sink in. And it's something hopefully I can use as a platform just to get my message out and to help as many people as I can. So I feel very blessed and honoured still.
Absolutely. And obviously that took you to Wimbledon as well, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. I've been a Wimbledon fan since like my teenage years. I used to queue up outside. I used to stand outside the changing rooms trying to see, you know, players like Sampras and Agassi walking out.
Yeah.
And then to get invited to the Royal Box again was like, you know, one of these are pinch me moments that I'm so blessed, you know, to even have. You know, I'm embracing it all, but I do feel like I have, you know, guardian angels like my grandmother who passed away
Yeah.
from Alzheimer's. I work closely with all these charities. My father-in-law, who was my angel, he was my sidekick. He'd probably be sitting here, joining me today. He used to do everything with me. And then when we lost him suddenly with very rare, like bad brain tumor really quickly within 6 months, it was devastating. And it's devastating to think that he isn't with me in all the workouts, but he's definitely up there, because I think everything that's happened, someone is guiding this path. It's been so unknown and such an amazing journey, but it's having, that faith and knowing, I think someone up there is, guiding me through all of this.
Definitely.
So, yeah, it's, I think the charity work now, that's why I continue doing it.
It's something very close to your heart, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's something that
and
you also know what it's like to see someone suffering and someone that you
exactly.
love.
Yeah.
That's hard, right?
Yeah, when your loved ones, go through things like that. Exercise actually has such a huge role in reducing risks of chronic illnesses. They say if you hit the government guidelines and build up to it, we can reduce risks of, everything from heart disease to cancers, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, diabetes is a huge one, by 30 to 50%. And even hitting the guidelines, you can reduce your risks of early death by 3 years. So the science and research that I've done, really motivates me. And diabetes is a huge one. I have it in my family.
Absolutely, especially in our culture, right?
Yes,
South
so
Asian culture.
exactly.
We're actually quite high in that, aren't
We're
we?
6 times more likely than the white population in the UK to have diabetes. And there's so many of us, I hate to say, even younger generations that are living with pre-diabetes.
Yeah.
And we just don't know it. So we are susceptible. We then got even more disproportionately affected by the COVID pandemic. And I'm doing some amazing work. I'm very proud ambassador. So I work with the charity Diabetes UK now. And I've been doing that since the MBE. And it's trying to sort of help educate people on easy ways to move, make it fun, doesn't have to cost anything.
And work with people, right?
Yeah,
work with your
and
community.
raise awareness and just educate people on the power of movement and what, such simple things that we could all be doing to enhance our lifestyles. And it's about the next generation, right? We're
100%.
mothers, so
Yeah.
I worry about my children's health. I think we all do, and the future. So it's hopefully they're going to see. It's great to be in this space, especially as a South Asian mum and as a woman.
But do you think they're going to have the sort of troubles that we do? Because obviously, we're from a culture where, sugar is very high in literally in oil and everything that we eat.
Exactly.
But I feel like our children are going to have a different sort of
I hope so.
life.
Yeah, I hope they're more, a little bit more conscious and a bit more aware. I love food. I think everything in balance. But yeah, we want more colourful plates. We want home-cooked food rather than processed food. I think the future is going to be different. There's a lot of research about plant-based diets as well. Our kids will hopefully, maybe not see the effects that we're seeing. And it's about...
If we start something, if we
Totally.
lead by example, then they will follow, won't they?
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I hope so.
Lavina, thank you very much. It's been
thank
amazing.
you, Sharon. It's been lovely to speak to you. And keep doing this. I think, what you're doing is fabulous. So thank you so much for the
Thank you,
opportunity.
Lavina.